already hit.
Good morning. I call this meeting of the House Consumer Protection, Technology, and Utilities Committee to order. For the information of the members and guests, this meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the caucus YouTube channel following today's meeting. Ms. Brooks, please do the roll call.
Chairman Burgos, Representative Benham, Representative Borowski, Representative Cephas, Representative Gallagher, Representative Haddock, Representative Hohenstein, Representative Isaacson, Representative Malagari, Representative Mullins, Representative Monroe, Representative Nelson, Representative Pielli, Representative Steele, Chairman Metzgar,
Here.
Representative Hogan, Representative Kale,
Designation.
Representative Kaufman,
Designation.
Representative Kutz,
Here.
Representative Major, Representative Mahaffey,
Designation.
Representative Mahalik,
Designation.
Representative Rinkavich,
Designation.
Representative Tomlinson,
Designation.
Representative Warner.
Designation. Oh, sorry.
Representative Warner is here. Representative Williams. Thank you.
Having quorum, call up Representative Hambidge, House Bill 804. Representative Hambidge, would you like to speak on your bill?
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for bringing up this bill. House Bill 804 adds recreational vehicles to the state's lemon law. Currently, only new vehicles and more recently motorcycles have been included in the lemon law. Many Pennsylvanians dream of experiencing the majesty of this country firsthand, and they do so, or they can do so, in an RV. And for many of them, this dream coincides with retirement, downsizing, and other life changes. And part of that is because of the cost of RVs. Some people pay well over $100,000 to buy an RV. While other states have enacted lemon laws to protect those purchasing an RV, in Pennsylvania, it comes with a risk because they're not protected like they would be if they were buying a vehicle or a motorcycle. If an RV has persistent mechanical failures, a buyer is left to navigate costly repairs or legal disputes on their own. Moreover, some people buying used vehicles don't have the protection of knowing whether it was bought back under a lemon law or other type of failure where a company came to a consumer resolution to purchase back a failing vehicle. Currently, if a car has a significant defect that cannot be repaired after 3 attempts, or within the first year, or 12,000 miles, manufacturers must offer a replacement or a refund. The title of the vehicle is updated to reflect that it was purchased under the Lemon Law Act, repurchased under a Lemon Law Act. This bill would allow RVs, purchasers, the same protections. If cars are covered under the Lemon Law, then high-cost recreational vehicles should be as well. This has been an ongoing issue for years, with hundreds of documented complaints filed on this exact topic. So far this year, 32 camper and RV-related complaints have already been reported to the Bureau of Consumer Protection. My legislation would ensure that hardworking Pennsylvanians who invest in RVs can do so with the same confidence of any other vehicle buyer. If you buy a defective RV in Pennsylvania, you should have a right to repair, replacement, or refund. Plain and simple. If RVs are being built well and meeting safety standards, then this bill should not burden the outdoor recreation industry. But if there is a problem, and we see from the complaints that get filed year after year that sometimes there are, our constituents deserve the right to repair. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Hamage. Staff, would you read the summary of the bill?
House Bill 804 amends the automobile lemon law, further provides definitions and applies recreational vehicles to the lemon law.
Thank you. I'll be offering an amendment to the bill, Amendment A00432. Correction, Amendment A00431. Staff read the amendment, the summary to the amendment.
Amendment A00431. This amendment removes the definitions of house coach, house trailer, motor home, recreational trailer, and truck camper, and replaces the definition of recreational vehicle with the definition already found in statute.
Ms. Brooks, would you do roll call on the amendment? A00431. Yes. Designation. Yes. Designation, yes. Designation, yes.
Yes. Representative Malagari. Representative Mullins.
Designation, yes.
Representative Monroe.
Designation, yes.
Representative Nelson.
Designation, yes.
Representative Pielli.
Designation, yes.
Representative Steele.
Designation, yes.
Chairman Metzgar.
Yes.
Representative Hogan. Representative Kale.
Designation, yes.
Representative Kaufman.
Designation, yes.
Representative Kutz.
Yes.
Representative Major. Representative Mahaffey.
Designation, yes.
Representative Mihalik.
Designation, yes.
Representative Rincavic.
Designation, yes.
Representative Tomlinson.
Designation, yes.
Representative Warner. Representative Williams.
The chair calls up Amendment A00490. Staff, would you read the summary of the amendment?
Amendment A00490. This amendment changes the date that recreational vehicles will be covered from January 1st, 2026 to January 1st, 2027, and clarifies that recreational vehicles that do not have an odometer are covered within a period of 1 year following the actual delivery of the recreational vehicle or during the term of the warranty, whichever may occur first.
Thank you. Are there any negative votes on the amendment? Hearing none, the amendment passes. I call up House Bill.
Thank you, Chairman. While I understand the concerns that are raised by the prime sponsor, I think this is a problem in search of a solution, or a solution in search of a problem, I should say. And in this case, we're talking about a luxury item, and an RV is something that we purchase because we want to. The Lemon Law, as it was built for automobiles and motorcycles, was a law so that we could make sure that people could get to work, that they could do the things that are necessary in life, not have fun and recreate, as the name implies. These vehicles are homes that have many components that go down the road at hurricane speeds, and many things can go wrong. And these are not something that should be covered by the Lemon Law, and as such, I would encourage a no vote on the bill.
Representative Haddock?
You know, Pennsylvanians spend upwards, and I wasn't sure if I quite heard Representative Hainbridge. These RVs that are mentioned as the chair is called homes could be in excess of $300,000. That's a major investment from anybody from Pennsylvania, and the people of Pennsylvania deserve coverage. If they have in the Lemon Law to go back to a dealership several times for the same problem, and the same problem isn't fixed, then they should deserve a new product, or they deserve their money back. These are major investments, and it's a major part of our economy. And just because somebody thinks it's a pleasure to have it, you buy 2 cars, maybe you only have to get 1 car to go to work, but both your cars are covered. The second car is a luxury too sometimes. But this is a major investment by the people of Pennsylvania, and this is a good bill that protects the consumers of Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Representative Williams?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are a lot of things that we buy that are very expensive. Not all of them, in fact, very few of them are covered by lemon laws. Your home. You have a limited opportunity to find defects in your home. Usually it's your final inspection and then 30 days thereafter. You don't get a year and 12,000 miles worth of driving to discover a defect. In addition to that, this definition of a motorhome includes something as a slide out. So if you have a pop-up camper, it includes that. Any trailer or fifth wheel. Bear in mind, the Lemon Law is designed to protect your mode of transportation, a motorcycle or vehicle. There are several styles of recreational vehicle, RV or motorhome, that is not actually motorized but are towed behind the vehicle. So now you get to take your RV back into the dealership 1 year later, 12,000 miles worth of usage, and say, the microwave doesn't work, I want a brand new vehicle. Not microwave, but vehicle. That's the way this bill is styled. You find one fault with the vehicle, you get 1 year worth of usage, and then you take it back in and get a brand new one. The Lemon Law was designed so that if your mode of transportation could not be fixed by the dealership, you got either a rebate or a new form of transportation from that dealership. This is not in that class. This is not in that class. And I put to you, committee, what if we were to do this with boats? People live on boats, and boats are very expensive also. This was not the intent of the Lemon Law when we added motorcycles to it last year. And I would respectfully ask for a no vote. Thank you.
Will the committee report House Bill 804 as amended? Those in favor of reporting the bill as amended will vote yes. Roll call, Ms. Brooks?
Chairman Burgos,
Yes.
Representative Benham, Representative Borowski, Representative Cephas,
Designation yes.
Representative Gallagher,
Designation yes.
Representative Haddock, Representative Hohenstein,
Designation yes.
Representative Isaacson, Representative Malagari, Representative Mullins,
Designation yes.
Representative Monroe,
Designation yes.
Representative Nelson,
Designation yes.
Representative Pielli,
Designation yes.
Representative Steele,
Designation yes.
Chairman Metzgar,
No.
Representative Hogan, Representative Kale,
Designation no.
Representative Kaufman,
Designation no.
Representative Kutz,
No.
Representative Major, Representative Mahaffey,
Designation no.
Representative Mahalik,
Designation no.
Representative Rincavic,
Designation no.
Representative Tomlinson,
Designation no.
Representative Warner,
No.
Representative Williams,
No.
The bill passes 14 to 12. Next, the chair calls up House Bill 463, offered by Representative Matsey, Chairman Matsey. Ms. Brooks, would you do the summary?
This bill bans speculative ticketing.
Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, the bill passes unanimously. The chair calls up House Bill 967, offered by Representative Isaacson. Staff, would you read the summary of the bill?
House Bill 967 amends the Unfair Trade Practices and Consumer Protection Law to make it unlawful to charge a fee of more than 5% to the purchaser of a ticket and a fee of more than 5% by an event ticket reseller.
Representative Kutz, you have some comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank the gentlelady for bringing this important issue to the table, and I understand the concerns with excessive fees that are charged by resellers, and I think those are the kinds of things we want to prevent. However, in this case, I think we need to balance free market needs and the fact that these resellers may not control all the fees that are coming to them with the consumer protection issue before us. And I think that's a balancing act this committee is tasked with. And while there are instances of excessive fees, I believe a one-size-fits-all approach to cap all fees at 5% may not contemplate certain circumstances where the free market may dictate those fees going higher. For example, as a reseller, you may have fees charged by a third-party vendor that would exceed that, and as a reseller providing this service to folks who did not get the opportunity to purchase those tickets firsthand from the venue or from the original place of sale for the ticket, those resellers may be at a competitive disadvantage and may ultimately lose money if a third-party vendor charges them a fee that has to be passed on to a consumer. So while I appreciate the intent behind the bill, and I think we would all agree that certainly charging fees that sometimes amount to hundreds and hundreds of dollars at the end of a transaction that are surprises until you go to check out, those are things we want to prevent as a matter of public policy. I believe it's a dangerous precedent to put this cap in without considering the unintended consequences. So respectfully, Mr. Chairman, I will be a no vote and ask my colleagues to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Isaacson?
Thank you, Chairman. And thank you for bringing this bill up. As we all have seen, excessive resales of tickets has made them pretty much unattainable for the average fandom. And my bill is not just a 5% cap, it's actually a 10%, because there's the 5% for the purchasing and the 5% for the reseller, so that there is a profit that is allowed to be made in their resale. They're just not allowed to, under this, my intent in this bill, charge excessive fees due to, say, something like the Super Bowl or the World Series, and making a fandom go crazy and making tickets unattainable to only those that have the wherewithal to do it, as opposed to the average citizen who is a fan. You know, being from Philadelphia, I just named two of our teams that brought us such pleasure in last year. And, you know, the man who picks up my trash, who's wearing his Eagles jersey, he doesn't have the money with these resale values and extra fees that are tacked onto a ticket. And so all this is doing is trying to cap the fee that they charge, again, 10%, on top of what the ticket price is. So look, for those fans out there that want to make sure that we want to make sure that they're able to enjoy the teams that are their hometown teams or any concerts that come to town. I don't have a problem with people making a profit or a fee on top of a ticket price, but I do have a problem with it becoming excessive when anybody who's gone to a concert or a sports event or any other entertainment event knows that most of these are nothing more than a click of a computer for the companies that are operating in these resales. Very few people, if any, have tickets that are paper any longer. There is no going out and scalping tickets out in parking lots any longer. You have computerization, and thus the fees that are charged are excessive and going in to line their pockets and not our operational fees. So for that, I would hope that people would stand with the average Joe who just wants to go see a ball game and make it more affordable. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Chairman Metzger.
Just a clarification with regard to a statement made by the maker of the bill. I understand she's saying that there's a 10% cap. That 10% cap is actually delineated in two 5% provisions in the actual language of the bill. What Representative Kutz was referencing was the sale in the second component of that, which is the bona fide purchaser, not the original seller of the ticket, I should say. And so in his example, the bona fide purchaser who's no longer able to go to the event and wants to capitalize on the market is still capped at 5%. So I think it is a distinction with a difference there. And it is 5% to that bona fide purchaser where I think our constituents would fall into rather than those that are doing this for a living, which may be the target of it. There is a 5% and 5% component of it, which equals 10, but that's not what Representative Kutz was referring to. And I, again, agree with Representative Kutz and encourage my colleagues to vote no.
Representative Isaacson.
Yes, thank you. And I do understand where you're trying to make the distinction, but for many of the tickets that are resold are not necessarily just people who are trying to resell their ticket because they can't make an event. I don't think that they're sitting there looking to have a profit as an individual who can't make an event. Companies that are compiling and doing mass purchases and holding on to tickets to resell them on a different venue certainly are out there capitalizing and making the market unobtainable, and that is the goal of it.
Any additional comments from members? Ms. Brooks, do the roll call, please.
Chairman Burgos,
Yes.
Representative Benham, Representative Borowski, Representative Seifert,
Designation yes.
Representative Gallagher,
Designation yes.
Representative Haddock,
De-
Representative Hohenstein,
Designation yes.
Representative Isaacson,
Yes.
Representative Malagari, Representative Mullins,
Designation yes.
Representative Monroe,
Designation yes.
Representative Nelson,
Designation yes.
Representative Pielli,
Designation yes.
Representative Steele,
Designation yes.
Chairman Metzgar,
No.
Representative Hogan,
No.
Representative Kale,
Designation no.
Representative Kaufman,
Designation no.
Representative Kutz,
No.
Representative Major, Representative Mahaffey,
Designation yes.
Representative Mahalik,
Designation no.
Representative Rincavage,
Designation no.
Representative Tomlinson, Representative
Hold on a second. Designation yes.
Representative Warner, Representative Williams.
Yes.
The majority of the vote. 15-9, the bill passes. Next, I call up House Bill 921, offered by Representative Davidson. Staff, would you do a summary of the bill?
House Bill 921, offered by Representative Davidson, establishes the Low-Income Household Water Assistance Program.
Representative Davidson, would you like to say some comments on your bill?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, Chairman Burgos, Chairman Metzger. Good to see you all here today. Thank you for allowing me to speak to the committee about my very important legislation. As you know, my work often brings me face to face with the challenges of water infrastructure and affordability. I think all of us face that challenge in our districts, challenges that many of you grapple with daily in your communities as well. I'd like to talk briefly about this critical issue, the growing burden of water and wastewater costs on many Pennsylvania households. Water affordability is a serious concern across the Commonwealth. Pennsylvania ranks among the top 5 states for customer water utility debt, with an average nearing $474. For families near the poverty line, these essential bills can take up a huge burden of their income. The Federal Low-Income Household Water Assistance Program provided temporary relief, but as that was a one-time funded program from the federal government, that help has ended and left a significant gap. To address this, I've introduced House Bill 921 to create a permanent state-level low-income household water assistance program here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. This program, administered by DHS in consultation with the Public Utilities Commission, aims to help eligible low-income households manage overdue water or wastewater bills. This program is designed so that local municipal authorities could apply for grants on behalf of eligible customers, simplifying the process. Funds would be targeted to prevent shutoffs, pay arrears, and restore service to customers. Establishing this program is about ensuring basic needs are met, protecting public health, and promoting community stability. It also benefits municipal governments by reducing arrearages, supporting more stable revenue, and simply it's sound policy for our communities and utilities. In my view, it's a win-win. I urge this committee to support House Bill 921. I thank the chair and Chair Metzger as well for the ability to speak with you all today and the members who are present with us. And I urge a yes vote on House Bill 921. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Davidson. Representative Chairman Metzger.
Thank you. Appreciate you taking the time, Representative Davidson. Was just curious, so your vision of this is, my reading the bill is that there would be a grant program that the municipalities apply for. The grant program is a state program, is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, that's correct.
All right, and so how big of a grant program are we thinking?
You know, that's really up to negotiation at the budget table. Obviously, this would come with a cost to the Commonwealth. But, you know, given that revenues are coming in about 7% over projections, I feel like we have the ability to serve our constituents in this way. So the budget number is yet to be determined, but I look for input from the Department of Human Services, the administration, our colleagues in the Senate for input on that.
So our revenues are a little above projection. However, our landing, whenever you look at the multi-year landing, we're in a deficit, though. So where do we get the money then?
Right. So, you know, the out-year structural deficit has been with us for many, many years in the Commonwealth. That's nothing new to us here. However, in the current fiscal year, revenues are doing well. So, you know, I hope that we can stand up this program and keep it funded in the out years as well. Obviously, revenues in the out years are dependent on the economy and many other factors. So we could reassess at a later date. But for now, this is a program that I think is really important for consumers. And frankly, it's a win-win, both for the water utilities, be they public or private, a municipal authority or a private company, because it helps their AR balances over time. It's also a win for the low-income individuals who are facing these debts and going to collections, but also for the rest of the ratepayers, because they're the ones who are carrying this burden already. So in my view, it's a win-win-win. We help the customers as a whole, the low-income individuals who are in need, but also our water utilities so they can do their regular maintenance and budgeting.
Those increased revenues, though, have already been at least proposed to be allocated to the transit crisis in the Philadelphia region and our school funding crisis that I know your caucus talks a lot about. So we take money away from those? Is that where we we go with this?
Yeah, I mean, certainly this is part of the budget negotiations, and hopefully we can walk and chew gum at the same time, both addressing our transit needs, which is really a statewide problem, not just in the city of Philadelphia or the Collar counties, but also in all the transit systems across the Commonwealth. But I think this is something we can do alongside of that to benefit all of our water customers.
Thank you.
Ms. Brooks, would you do the roll call?
Chairman Burgos,
Yes.
Representative Benham,
Designation, yes.
Representative Borowski, Representative Cephas,
Designation, yes.
Representative Gallagher,
Designation, yes.
Representative Haddock, Representative Hohenstein,
Designation, yes.
Representative Isaacson, Representative Malagari, Representative Mullins, Representative Monroe,
Designation, yes.
Representative Nelson,
Designation, yes.
Representative Pielli,
Designation, yes.
Representative Steele,
Designation, yes.
Chairman Metzgar,
No.
Representative Hogan, Representative Kale,
Designation, no.
Representative Kaufman,
Designation, no.
Representative Coots.
No.
Representative Cutts,
They want you to vote again.
No. Thank you.
You only
Sorry.
get one.
Representative Major, Representative Mahaffey,
Designation, yes.
Representative Mahalik,
Designation, no.
Representative Rincavic,
Designation, no.
Representative Tomlinson,
Designation, yes.
Representative Warner,
No.
Representative Williams.
Yes.
The bill passes carrying the majority of the votes, 18-9. Next, the chair calls up House Bill 1216, offered by Representative Fiedler. Staff, would you read the summary of the bill? Congratulations, Representative Davidson.
This bill established an all-in pricing model for goods and services sold in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Do I hear any negative votes on the bill? Having the majority of the votes, the bill passes. There being no further business before the committee, we are adjourned.